Our model here has a short grown out bob and is interested in updating her look by adding some bright, natural dimension throughout, with more focus on intensity toward the hairline. To achieve our desired result, our plan is to use an open-air balayage painting method, followed by adding a subtle root shadow for blending, followed again by an overall toning process. One thing to keep in mind with these shorter styles is how often your client intends to cut their hair. The reason being, by adding too much lightness in the back nape area can result in spotty color if the nape is cut too short. One way to avoid this is to cut the client's hair before you begin application, as we will do prior to lightening. After cutting our client's hair to her desired length, we begin by sectioning off the hair prior to lightening. Using her natural part on the top, we separate the front and back sections by first finding the high point of the head and dropping about 1 to 2 inches below it. We then use our tail comb to split off the back section behind the ear on each side. Use your clips for cleanliness of sections. We will begin our application on the model's right side, and we start with a long diagonal back and clip it out of the way. In the next video, we begin painting on the right. Beginning our painting on the right side, hold the diagonal back section firmly, taut, and with a medium elevation. Start by applying the lightener 2 to 3 inches below your peak intention point and build the product on as you work it up toward the base of the section. Because we are focused on taking fewer, larger sections to add more impact throughout, using a brush like this 2-inch chip brush that has a large surface area and gentle application will help to cover only the surface area of the section. Avoid oversaturation through these larger sections, as that could create unwanted lines or spots, or that strange marbling effect in the middle area due to uneven lightener penetration. After laying the first section down, take another long diagonal back parting about 1/2 inch above, parallel to the first. Paint on the product in a similar manner, with a lightener focused closer to the front hairline and tapering down and back so that the flow of blonde strength looks natural and sun-kissed. Around the high recession point, take a less steep diagonal back parting, which will create more bright impact around the face while adding more depth at the crown for natural contrast. Into the nape. Lastly, cover the side section with clear wrap for control. Now on the client's left side, begin by taking a long diagonal back parting, starting toward the low recession. Pull the hair back firmly and evenly, with mid-elevation, and begin to feather on the lightener. Build up product first at least 2 to 3 inches from the high point of the section nearest the scalp. Paint on the product lightly but firmly to distribute it with an even saturation. Taper down and back, creating the half V pattern. Start by parting off a steep diagonal back from the natural part to the previous section. Over-direct the hair back with tension, and with high elevation, feather on the lightener, focusing the strength toward the hairline edge. Next, create a triangle section by taking a diagonal back parting from the intersection point of the last parting to the middle of the front section. Paint on the product in the same manner, with the half V tapering back to maintain the flow of color. Cover the two sections with clear wrap. Next, take a parting from the hairline to the middle of the last section. With a less is more approach in mind, and since our focus of blonde strength is aimed at the front hairline, we will take the last big section as one. Paint on the product in the same way, tapering it back. Cover this side of the top with clear wrap, and let's move on to finishing the application on the other side on the top. Lastly, take a U-shaped parting in the back. Take this last crown section and paint on the lightener to give the look of a full connected feel. Holding this section firmly at a low elevation, paint the lightener on in a low V pattern. Cover this last section and let's move on to root shadow and toning. Another bonus to moving forward in vertical back partings is that we can lessen the amount of depth we add as we approach the hairline, making room for more brightness around the face. Make sure to also match the same amount of color placement on the opposite side for balance. Once the root shadow is on, allow it to process for only 5 to 7 minutes, at which point we will add a toner to the mid-lengths and ends, blending the two colors together at the point of impact, and then leaving it on for an additional 5 to 10 minutes. After her hair has been dried and styled, notice the perfect blend of newly sun-kissed pieces and the subtle melt of color from roots to ends, the front of this A-line bob. This technique is perfect for shorter hairstyles like this.